Quitting smoking can be challenging, but you can find support for your quit journey where and when you need it. To raise your chances of quitting for good, coming up on Polk Place, we'll talk with the Florida Department of Health and Polk County about tobacco cessation in 2019. Welcome to Polk Place. I'm your host, Lauren Lingell. Joining me in studio, we have Julie Davis, who is the Tobacco Policy Manager for the Florida Department of Health in Polk. Julie, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
We're trying to, okay, the Tobacco Policy Manager. Let's start there. What do you do?
Okay, so Tobacco Policy Manager, we help businesses with their tobacco policies. We also help multi-unit housing complexes with their policies, colleges with their policies, and everybody's got a tobacco policy. We just want them to strengthen them. There are some that follow the Clean Indoor Air Act, the Florida Clean Indoor Air Act, which is great, but sometimes we need to encourage something a little stronger, such as where they're designated smoking areas, and we encourage at least 25 feet away from a building. 25 to 30 is optimum. We encourage them to include cessation services in their health insurance packages. Employees can also get benefits through the Quit Your Way services through the Florida Department of Health's Tobacco Free Florida program. So there are a number of different things that we can help businesses with, encouraging their employees who are tobacco users to be quitters.
So you said a whole lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, if I were to wrap it up in this nice little package, is that through businesses, you're able to reach their employees and people thriving or living in Polk and encourage them to quit smoking and give them the tools to do so.
Correct.
Well, that's kind of brilliant. So talk to me a little bit about what a business would have to do or would need to do in order to incite the help of the Florida Department of Health.
Well, they can contact myself at the health department, and I could meet with them, look over their policy, look over the health insurance benefits, give them some pointers. We can also, if they have at least 5 employees that are wanting to quit, we can bring a face-to-face cessation program on site for those employees. So there's a couple of different options. Those are provided through the area health education centers. We can also give the hotline number or the quit line number to the employees. We can encourage them to utilize the services that are on the tobaccofreeflorida.com website. So just encouraging and helping to create a worksite wellness culture that is positively impacting their employees.
I want to get in a little bit more with the cessation practices and programs, but before we do that, what about companies or businesses that may not have a tobacco policy?
Okay, those that do not have a policy, we encourage them to do so for a number of different reasons. It helps to encourage that tobacco user to quit, but it also helps to maintain a healthy work site. There's secondhand smoke, there's third-hand smoke, which is the nicotine that stays on the clothing. There are a lot of medical facilities that are going to a complete tobacco-free just simply because they're dealing with patients that have chronic health issues that can be triggered by even third-hand smoke. So just creating that culture of wellness and health and just providing great resources through their health insurance policy, but also through encouraging them to utilize the services through Tobacco Free Florida.
So what would a completely tobacco-free campus or work site look like?
Okay, completely tobacco-free would be no no tobacco of any kind, including electronic cigarettes, chewing tobacco, of course, cigarettes, pipes, anything of a lit source.
Vaping devices.
Correct. Yep,
Okay.
anything like that. And there would not be a designated smoking area. It would be completely off campus. If the employee wanted to smoke, they would have to do it off campus. But we encourage the tobacco-free because we have found that policy changes behavior.
And would you say it's pretty evident that there's a direct link with tobacco policies and health insurance?
Mm-hmm.
So that could have an impact on premium costs.
Absolutely. It can have a direct impact on premium costs. There are several businesses who actually charge extra for to their tobacco users for their health insurance policies. There are some companies that incentivize the non-tobacco user, so they get a little bit more. If it's a non-tobacco user, they get a little something extra. There are there's also the bottom line that the employer has to look at.
Mm-hmm.
There's about $6,000 per tobacco user that a company loses annually. About $4,000 of that is lost in productivity. So that's the additional breaks that they take. Mm-hmm. The sick days, they tend to have more sick days. Their tobacco users' productivity is reduced by about 75%.
Wow.
Compared to a non-tobacco user. So, and you think about a 15-minute break, a person who uses a pack of cigarettes or smokes a pack of cigarettes a day, their 15-minute breaks after a year ends up being approximately an entire week's worth of work.
Wow. And I think that I've gone into places before and I've seen before they were supposed to be open, and I've seen people outside lighting up or having a cigarette, I guess before they go in for their shift or whatever, because got name tags on and stuff
Right.
like that. And you can imagine how that would play out that way. So that makes perfect sense. Mm-hmm. That all those breaks would be the equivalent to a week, you
Yeah.
said? Wow. I'd love to get that week back.
Yeah, exactly.
So now tell me a little bit about if, say, one of these employees says, okay, I'm going to take you up on your services. What types of things are they can expect?
So we can sit down face to face and again look at their policy, look at what they're offering in their insurance plans. We can also have, if they have at least the 5 employees that are interested in quitting, mm-hmm. we can coordinate with the Central Florida Area Health Education Centers to have a program come to them. And if they utilize the Tobacco Free Florida Quit Your Way services, they can get free coaching over the phone, online, face to face, and they get free nicotine replacement therapy, patches, lozenges, or gum.
So say they have these 5 employees and they're like, yeah, we need to quit. We agree. Let's bring some folks in here to do that. So what things go on in the curriculum, I guess?
So in the curriculum, there's one 2-hour class. It's called Tools to Quit. Mm-hmm. And it is just chock full of obstacles that they could possibly potentially face and how to overcome those. And during that program, they'll get their nicotine replacement therapy. They will get a book that they can journal in, and they can also learn more about the resources that are available through tobaccofreeflorida.com. Sometimes that's perfect. That's exactly what somebody needs. They don't need anything more. But Central Florida Area Health Education Centers has a program that's a 4 to 5 week program, and that's more of a support group. Mm-hmm. It's an hour once a week and kind of reiterates, but it also helps that person to deal with, okay, this week has been a real struggle for me, and they can get support from the other members in that program. So it's more of a support group.
And then you also mentioned nicotine replacement therapies or assistance.
Correct.
So that's the gum, the lozenges,
and patches.
And patches.
Mm-hmm.
So do those all kind of work the same way?
They do. The ones that come from the state are 21 milligrams, so that is your starter kit. And once you've been on the 21 milligrams for a couple of weeks, then it's your responsibility to get the 14 milligrams, do that for a couple of weeks, and then 7 milligrams. And by then you should have the nicotine out of your system and be tobacco free.
I know that's scary for some people, but this is a situation where quitting is the goal.
Yes, you want to be a quitter.
You want to be a quitter.
And it's, for those of you who are not tobacco users, keep in mind it takes an average of 8 to 11 times before somebody completely quits. So it's highly addictive. It's habitual, but it's also an addictive substance. So continue to encourage them. They could fall off the wagon, encourage them to get back on. And employers just really need to keep that in mind as well, that we need to continue to create this culture. And okay, well, you offered a class in the spring, well, let's offer one in the fall as well. And sometimes you'll have people that repeat and will come back through the class just because they've struggled.
Yeah, you know, someone always says, you know what the easiest way to quit smoking is? It's never to start. I'm like, that's the most clever thing that everyone's always thought of.
Yes.
If you know, if someone went back in time, that would be a brilliant idea.
Correct.
But you are where you are, and you can only start from one moment.
Yes, and I have people tell me all the time, oh yeah, I just quit cold turkey. Well, that's great. Some people can do that.
Yeah.
A lot of people can't, and they need to have the support. And we have found that people do better at quitting when they utilize the services of the free coaching over the phone, online, or face-to-face, as opposed to, I'm just going to do the patches. And you got to have a support team. You got to have a network around you. And that's also a great opportunity for the employer to come alongside them and say, you can do this, and we're going to encourage you to continue.
Well, that's fantastic. Julie, thank you so much for being here. I hope that some businesses reach out to you if they don't already have something in place. And even if they do, you've got some great services at the Florida Department of Health in Polk County. So thanks so much for sharing with us.
Thank you for having me.
The Florida Department of Health in Polk County wants you to know that it may take a number of tries before you're able to quit for good. But you should also know that it can be done. Quitting can be challenging, but you can find support for your quit journey where and when you need it to raise your chances of quitting for good. The new year has just begun, and you're beginning a long list of New Year's resolutions. However, here's the one that's worth the extra effort this year: quit smoking. Tobacco is the leading cause of disability, disease, and preventable death in the United States. For more information on their programs, you can give them a call at 863-519-7900 or look them up on the web at polk.floridahealth.gov.